What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again with another New York Giants video. Well, semi-New York Giants, of course it is the NFL draft, as for some reason you can see at the top there, the green screen is freaking out around my hair. But guys, this is really, as the title states, just my final thoughts on the NFL draft, which is of course taking place tomorrow. And make sure you come back not only tonight for the Young Guns podcast, which I believe is going to be on Kid Blue's channel this week, and then tomorrow night back on my channel, where I will be live streaming, live reacting, and live commentating on the NFL draft. It is the first time in my YouTube career, in my 3 years of being on YouTube, where I'm actually, you know, just looking and observing the draft on my channel. So I'm definitely very excited. And let's just get into my final thoughts. I really think that it's hard for the Giants to mess up picks 5 and 7 tomorrow night. Day 2 and day 3 are a different story, but we are in a really good spot with these two picks. For all that Dave Gettleman did wrong, when he did right, it was good. It was really good in my opinion. You know, James Bradbury, Martinez, Leo, really good moves. And the trade down, even though some people aren't happy with the player that we got, the pick that we got has us in an incredible situation, because there's so many different scenarios that I could see happening that all at the end of the day help out the Giants, and at the end of the day I'm happy with. Of course, starting off with my favorite scenario, which is probably not going to happen because just of how good these players are, Ikem Ekwonu at 5 and Kayvon Thibodeaux at 7. I feel like for most people that is their number one scenario. Similarly for me it is as well. But as we're getting closer and closer to the draft, we're basically around 24 hours away. I am more and more of a believer that all the stuff that came out about Kayvon Thibodeaux was kind of smoke. I don't know by whose party it was put out by, but it just doesn't look like to me like it was necessarily truthful, or that teams are buying into it as much as the media would want us to think they're buying into it. Let me see if I could kind of adjust this thing, my green screen, a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better. So because of that, and also because Kayvon is one of the best players in the draft, number 2 at his position, if not number 1, I think that he's definitely going top 4. I also think that Ikem Ekwonu, similarly one of the best players in the draft period, number 2 if not number 1 at his position, also gonna go top 4. But that would be kind of like the logistic way of things. Travon Walker is a wild card, and yes, this video is gonna kind of be all over the place, but it's just me, you know, giving y'all my final thoughts, right? Travon Walker is a wild card because part of me really does believe that he can go within the top 5. I mean, this guy's been strapped to a skyrocket ever since the combine, and it has not looked down since, only been on the up and up. So I don't think it's out the realm of possibility that he probably is somebody that goes really high in this draft. And if that happens, I'm only happy because it means somebody else drops down to us, the New York Giants. I told you about my first favorite one. My second one, which I would love probably just as much, would be Ikem and Evan, or, you know, when I say and, I mean or. Ikem or Evan or Cross and Sauce Gardner. Any one of those tackles and Sauce Gardner, the number 1 cornerback in the draft, because James Bradbury is definitely gone, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Also very good. You get an immediate replacement. You get somebody that looks like he could potentially even be better at the height of his career, peak of his career. Somebody that believes himself to be the best player in the draft, and he's been reaffirming that as we get closer and closer to it, along with your franchise right tackle. And, you know, I'm not trying to make this video for me to talk too much about Travon or talk too much about Charles Cross, but I will say, for the people that have doubts about Charles Cross, just don't undervalue pass protection, which is one of the most important things in the NFL, and he's the best pass protector in the draft. I'm gonna leave it at that. Speaking of which, right tackle, I really want the Giants to come out the first round with a right tackle. Would I be disappointed if they don't? 100% I would be disappointed. Would I be angry? No, not necessarily. It all depends on how that happens. For example, if we're in a position where we somehow get Kayvon Thibodeaux and Sauce Gardner, it'd be really hard for me to be angry at that, because you got 2 of the best defensive players in the entire draft. I'm of course scratching my head almost pulling my hair out about, okay, who in the world are we taking in the second round to be our right tackle? But at that point, I guess I just have to lay my faith in one Brandon Brown, the assistant GM, and the guy that I'm looking towards when it comes to finding diamond in the rough offensive lineman, because of course his most famous find was Jordan Mailata, the absolute monster tackle on the Eagles. So and that's the one thing I also to bring forth here with the front office in general. I'm gonna be trusting most and majority of what they do. This is a brand new front office, headed by Joe Shane, a guy who was in Buffalo, of course, as the assistant GM, his first year as GM, first year head coach, first year assistant GM. They all have nice proven track records in their previous positions, but I'm going to trust what they do and then wait until the season hits to judge what they did for now. I don't want to, because there's nothing really to go off of, right? I don't want to take a negative route and not trust what they do. So let's see how it goes. That being said, I would also be happy with a Jermaine Johnson at 7, George Karlaftis at 7. You guys already noticed. Derek Stingley at 7. Yeah, I would. Okay, maybe not happy, but I'll be okay with it because at his height, he was better than Sauce, but we just don't know if he could get back to that height. The players that I would also like in the first round, but I would hope that we trade down for, of course, would be any of the linebackers, Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd. Any of the other cornerbacks like Andrew Booth or guy out of Washington whose name is completely slipping my mind right now. One of the other edges, like I would be fine with Trayvon Walker if he's still on the board, in like the teens or something like that. Tyler Linderbaum, who was at one point a lot of Giants fans' favorite pick for this draft. I'd be fine with him if we trade down. And speaking of which, even though my favorite scenario is Akeem and Kayvon in the, in the situation where they're both there, almost right there, along with the Sauce one as well, is a trade down scenario where we could somehow acquire a pick this year and next year. What I mean by that is one that could help us like immediately. Like if we make a trade down, for example, with the Atlanta Falcons, right? I believe they're sitting at 8. If we could get a second round pick for them this year and a first round pick from them next year, and of course there's other compensation as well, that would make me extremely happy. Because we'd be back-to-back picks, 7 and 8. I still believe we could get one of the tackles. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but maybe Charles Cross is still there. We take him. God knows there's going to be a good defensive player available. We take them. And then we have 2 second-round picks right now. For those of you that are concerned about the wide receiver position, bam, take him there. For those of you that really want a linebacker, bam, take him there in the second-round pick. Like, there's so many things that get introduced. But part of the reason that I haven't done a lot of draft content this year as compared to the previous years, along with the fact that, I just haven't had the time, is because I'm looking at this draft and there's way too many things to try and map out, but there's also a lot of scenarios that are just going to make me happy as a Giants fan. And so, listen, man, I think that we're all in for a good night tomorrow night. I would find it very hard for the Giants to mess it up. Of course, I'll have my, quick video analysis breakdowns of the picks the day after, like I did last year, to give you all my thoughts on it and where the Giants are headed, and possibly trying to predict day 2 and day 3 picks and whatnot. But this is just a little bit of a thought splurge. Don't forget to tune in tonight, Kid Blues channel, for the Young Guns. And once again, tomorrow night, right here, 7:30 p.m., I will be live streaming the draft. That's it for now, guys, and I'm out. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for checking out my channel, The Hub, here on Giants YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you hear every time I put out a video. Like it, share, and subscribe, and I'm out.